As we reflect upon the events of this past week, and in particular in what happened in Jersey City, I'm reminded of a Rashi that appears in this week's Parsha, and he brings a source that says as follows: Halacha Esav Sonei Liyaakov. The rule is Esav hates Jacob. There's a rule, and it's part of the way the world runs. There is hate. And despite all attempts to try to understand this hate, to try to explain why it's there, to try to explain where it exists, and all the failed attempts to come up with a logical understanding of it, we see it much simpler. It's a rule. It exists. It was created, and it's there. Esav Sonei Liyaakov. It's always been there, and it's not going away. And although at times it's more pronounced, at times it's less pronounced, it's always there. And what Yaakov teaches us in this week's Parsha is he gives us guidance on how to deal with this hate. As Yaakov is preparing to meet his brother after 34 years, where Esau was clearly planning and intending to murder his brother, Yaakov prepares for this meeting in three ways. The first way is he sends him gifts. He was clearly trying to appease his brother. And this can be likened to our approach that we use to try to appease the other nations, to try to discuss our issues, to explain normative approach to dealing with an enemy. And that's approach number one. I would call it diplomacy. An attempt to gain an understanding and discuss and help them understand that there's no reason to hate us. We're not looking to do anything bad. And step number two is if that doesn't work, we have to be ready for war. We have to be ready to defend ourselves. Inevitably, we can't just stand around. We have to be ready in case we do have to defend ourselves. And that's step number two. And step number three is Yaakov turns to prayer. And indeed, this has always been the most effective weapon that we have, and it's been passed down through the generations. Prayer is the most effective. And I think all of us, considering the circumstance and considering the world we live in, we need to strengthen ourselves in prayer, making sure we're praying more consistently, daily, every day, making sure we have real, heartfelt prayer. Because in the end, this is our most vital weapon.